some little bit of work here while I talk about what to do with bad customers. Now, if you're in the tech field, especially doing repairs, especially cell phone repairs, it seems, there's going to be a lot of bad customers. And those customers need to those customers need to basically they need to be fired. They need to be fired. They need to be fired not just from your store, but from every store. For instance, recently I sold a phone to somebody, brand new phone. Those of you in the States would know this phone. Probably it's from Cricket. It's a Samsung Galaxy Amp 2. It's an entry-level Samsung smartphone. Nothing too special. But, you know, it's a brand new phone and it's, reliable for what it is. So I sold this phone to a customer a couple of weeks ago, and this customer broke the LCD. Now that sucks, right? That sucks. You got a phone a couple weeks ago, you dropped it, you broke the LCD. That sucks, man. I feel ya. So this guy came into my store, and he's got the receipt, he's got the phone, and he's kind of coming at me like this, right? And I'm like, what is this, right? Like, kind of no words, just looking at me. And so I said, okay, what's up, man? And he says, I got this phone a couple weeks ago, and it's not working. Okay, what's not working about it, right? So I take a look, and the top glass isn't broken, but the LCD is broken underneath. I said, well, like pretty quickly I said it, I guess. I said, you got a broken LCD. I mean, I could see it right away. And I said, I don't have that part today, but I can go out tonight and see how much the part is, and then I can let you know and take it from there. Now by me saying I can go out tonight, I have 3 young daughters at home. I have a family. Even if I didn't, I have a life outside of work. And for me to say I can go out tonight to try and get this part for you means I'm going to work all day, and then I'm going to take time out of my personal life, right, to go and find this part for you. And I don't have to do that. I mean, I could say, yeah, I could probably get the part for, a week from now or whatever, right? But, contrary to what the negative reviews say, I have a heart. I actually care. It's not so much that I care about this person, or I care about. Rather, it's not so much that I care about my business good name. Like, I do good work, and I'm gonna have a good name, regardless of whether I go out of my way for somebody or not. Because quite frankly, I never see, only one time have I ever seen a review that said, wow, he even dropped off my phone after work to my work or to my house. Or, wow, this guy drove, an hour to go buy a phone for me because I said I needed a phone tonight and I didn't like any phones that he had. Right? And then dropped it off at my house, and I didn't get home that last time I did that till 11:30. And now that customer that I dropped off the phone for, that I went to go buy a phone and pick it up and drop it off for him. This guy now had my personal phone number, my cell phone number, because I had to call him to say I'm out front. Now all of a sudden this guy calls my personal cell phone all the time. I just think that's just not acceptable, right? And I got a lot of people like that. Once they get my personal cell phone number, then they just call it. They call during business hours instead of calling the store. They call after hours. They call 10 o'clock at night, right? And it's just, it's unacceptable. I wouldn't dream of doing that. Even just this morning, I'm supposed to get my oil changed in my car, and I'm very friendly with the mechanic down the street. I have his personal cell phone number. He called me yesterday from his personal cell phone number, but he called my store line because he was asking about a repair that he needed done. He didn't call my cell phone. And this morning when I called over, I didn't call his personal cell phone. I called his store. I called his repair shop because that's the right thing to do, right? So anyways, getting back to the Samsung LCD. So the guy, he's a little upset, because he's heard the news that he broke his phone. And of course, those of you who do these repairs, you know what it is, right? The guy, he says, well, I didn't drop it that hard, I said, well, that, that sucks, man, right? There's nothing I can do about that, though, you might not think it's hard. Hell, I might not even think it's hard. But it's broken, and that's the way it is. And when I sell the phone, I say, I don't cover physical or water damage. That's simple, right? So, this guy goes on, leaves, right? And at this time, there's one of my cop friends in full uniform hanging out in the store just shooting the shit. So he doesn't get all fucking uppity, but he's clearly agitated, and he leaves. And about an hour later, the guy comes back. And the guy comes back and he says, how do you know it's my LCD? I said, well, I looked at it and I saw all the breaks in the LCD, and that's how I know. Well, you hardly took a look at it, he says. I hardly took a look at it. Now, it's like looking at a piece of glass or like somebody's windshield, right? Like, you don't need to fully inspect it if you see that there's cracks in it, right? Like there's cracks. What do you need? Do you need to get out the magnifying lens and see? Right? No, you don't. So, I'm like, I'm sorry, sir, like the screen is broken, right? And like, we don't cover that under warranty, right? Well, what do you cover under warranty? I love this question, right? And it's like, well, sir, when I sold you the phone, I said we don't cover physical or water damage. We cover all the things the normal things that like Samsung or Apple would cover. Those are the things that we cover. And then he started saying, I'm being unethical. And I thought, what are you talking about, What are you talking about? Or no, even before he said I'm being unethical, he goes, how do you know, right? And I said, I looked at it, right? And then, he's like questioning me that I hardly looked at it. And I said, sir, I've been fixing phones now for almost 10 years, and I can see that that's broken. The top glass isn't broken, but you can see all the cracks in the LCD. Now then, he says he's been using Samsung for 10 years. Now, what the hell does that mean, right? Like, I said I've been fixing phones for almost 10 years now. You say that, you've been using Samsung for almost 10 years. So let's whip out our dicks and see which one's bigger. right? And then you know, I mean, that's the thing, right? Like, what the fuck does that mean? Like, I don't, you know, uh, you know, your tire's flat. Well, no, well, how do you know my tire's flat? Well, it's all out of air, and I can see a hole right here. Huh. Well, I hardly hit the curb. Well, that sucks, but like your tire's flat. You know? Like your sidewall's blown out. Right? Well, you hardly looked at it. Well, sir, I don't really need to look at it more. I mean, I can tell that it's the sidewall's ripped right here, and that's what it is, right? Well, how do you know? Oh, come on. You know what I mean? Sir, I've been fixing fucking cars for 10 years. Well, I've been driving Hondas for 10 years. What the hell does that mean, right? Like, what? So? You know what I mean? And so he starts calling me unethical, this guy, right? And I said, sir, what is it that I'm doing that's unethical? Oh, this is very unethical. And you can find the guy's review on my Google reviews, right? And I actually responded to it this morning. It's the very first time that I've ever responded to a review. I don't know why I responded to it. I'm just getting pretty pissed, you know, with customers, like, basically, like, I mean, what is the guy saying to me? Like, I want you to replace this screen even though I dropped it and broke it because I just got the phone, and I want you to do it for free? I mean, that just doesn't even make any sense. You know? And I was already gonna go out of my way to go find the screen. And quite frankly, those of you who do repairs, if you know the Samsung Galaxy Amp 2, like, it's an entry-level smartphone. And you know the reason that we don't stock those parts, especially screens, for those entry-level smartphones is the phone is $150 new. The screen probably wholesale costs us $90 to $110. What the fuck are we gonna charge to do this? So when we say, yeah, I can fix your screen, it's $150, you're gonna say, oh, well, I could buy a new phone for $150. Yeah, well, that sucks, right? But, like, that's the cost of the part. You know what I mean? I mean, these people don't even want to repair the charge ports in those phones a lot of times. A lot of times, they don't even want to replace the battery. Right? So why am I going to stock parts for that? But I'm willing to go out of my way to find out the price, see if there's one available, and then let you know and let you decide. But now you're calling me unethical. Right? So I just want to know, like, what the fuck part of what I'm doing is unethical, you know? So I'm like, sir, I don't even think that you understand the meaning of the word that you're using right now, because I don't see what I'm doing that's unethical. Like, if you can tell me, right, we could talk about it, you know? And, you know, then he just gets right pissed, and he leaves, and he curses at me as he's leaving. Now, you know what? Like, I'm a person, right? I'm a person, and I'm a person who likes to do a good job for people, you know. I want to do the right thing. I don't want to fuck anybody over. I don't say you need one thing and you don't. I don't not do anything to your phone and fucking charge you, right? So, you know, I got so pissed that he's cursing at me as he's leaving that I grabbed the megaphone, the bullhorn, and I fucking ran out the shop with the bullhorn, and I fucking said, oh, there he goes right there. There's an asshole. That guy right there with the brown bag. You know, which is like, it's like a fucking tantrum. It's like a fucking, I mean, it's kind of funny. It's pretty funny. But, you know, like, it's also like, wow, that was pretty immature of me to do that. And I get that. Now, the funny thing is, when this guy wrote the review, he never mentioned the fact that I went outside with a megaphone. right? Like, which would have been, it would have been funny. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that would have been, yeah, I just think that. Sorry about that. I think that would have been funny. You know, had he done that, had he at least mentioned that, I think I might not have, you know, I might not have said anything. I might not have replied to the review had he said that. Because then there would have been, to me, like some level of honesty, you know, about what he's saying now, right? But there just wasn't. To me, it was just dishonest, right? Like the guy actually says, let me find his review here. He says, the hipster treatment. So first of all, like he's like condescending, like, you know, it's not a racial slur, but it's like some derogatory comment, you know. Worst customer service experience and very unethical business practices. The cantankerous manager who runs the place sold me a defective phone, and when I asked for it to be repaired or replaced, he pulled a hissy fit blaming me for the damages, which I never did pull a hissy fit. After about 5-10 minutes of like going back and forth, and then you start calling me unethical, I kind of get a little irritated, and you know, like, what is it, sir, that is unethical about what I'm doing? And that was pretty much the tone, right? Like, what is it, sir, that I'm doing? I'm sorry, man, but like, what is it, right? So I don't think that's a hissy fit. And he told me that he dropped the phone, but it wasn't a hard drop. That's what he said. So, like, blaming him for the damages? I don't know, you be the judge. Then he says, this is the closest thing that comes to theft without being theft. Well, why don't you call the fucking cops then? Right? I paid for a phone that completely stopped working, and without examining the issue, well, I examined the fucking issue. The passive-aggressive employee said that the damage is my fault and is not covered. He became rude and defensive. I then left, arrived to work frustrated, and when I told my colleagues what happened, one of them mentioned that he had a similar experience with the same disgruntled employee at Stellar 6 months earlier. Really? Anyway, I'll write a claim letter and we'll try to recover my money, because this store is preying on poor students and getting away with robbery. Really? I'm preying on poor students? I'm getting away with robbery? Really? Avoid this store like the plague. I felt it is my civic duty to warn fellow Torontonians about this awful establishment that's scamming consumers. Now, anybody that fucking knows reviews, most people only write a review when they're really pissed, right? So you're not really going to get a lot of positive reviews. They're mainly going to be negative reviews. I mean, you know. And I got 78 Google reviews, and my star rating is 3.8, which is, I wouldn't say it's fantastic. 3.8, it's not 5. You know? But out of 78 reviews, means there's a lot of fucking positive ones in there. Right? Yeah. So, yeah. These reviews, they affect me because I do a good job. If I didn't do a good job, if I didn't give a shit, if I just was here to fucking rip people off and this and that, then I wouldn't care. I wouldn't even look at these reviews because I'd be like, I'm not gonna look at those reviews. I know what I'm doing. Right? Yeah. So that's the thing, you know? That's the thing. That's the thing with this guy. So, you know, I've been turning away a lot more business lately, right? Cause I got customers who come in, they're like, hey, I got this screen fixed 2 weeks ago. And the tempered glass that I put on, the screen protector that I put on for free and didn't charge them is broken to shit. And the LCD underneath is broken to shit. And they come in with their receipt, right? And they're like, I don't know, I went out last night and then I woke up this morning and my phone was like this and I didn't drop it or anything. I'm like, really? That's fucking strange. Right? And all in all, I think, you know, these are like, you know, you might be pulling a hissy fit right now, right? You might be the one pulling the hissy fit as the customer. You might be the one who's like, you're tight on money, this really sucks, you're really frustrated, and you just, you know, you've got a lot of other, you know, maybe not even you're tight on money. Maybe, you know, maybe your girlfriend broke up with you or a boyfriend, or maybe, you know, you had someone in the family die recently, and maybe you just, for whatever reason, you just woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? And these reviews, unfortunately, matter to some extent for people, right? When they're choosing where to go, where to eat, where to spend their money. So if you're going to give a review that's a negative review, let's have it be an accurate and honest review, right? Because then that's okay. That's okay, right? But if you're just pissed at yourself, really, and you want me to suffer, or my employees or my family to suffer because of it, you want my business to shut down because you dropped your cell phone and broke the screen and I don't cover physical damage? Apple doesn't cover physical damage. Samsung doesn't cover physical damage. Honda, Toyota, BMW. None of these companies cover physical damage. Like, they just don't. If you break something, right? But that's the thing, you know, people, they're always trying to these types of people are trying to, I don't know what they're trying to do, really, but it's upsetting. Anyways, that's my 2 cents.